22 damage. New round. Everyone roll for your action orders and state your intentions.
When we play tabletop RPGs, we are reawakening one of man's oldest traditions.
Games.
No.
I don't think I can play anymore at all.
You're leaving the game?
But we're almost to the Hall of the Goblin Queen. We have an open seat starting Tuesday. Of course I'm going to be the GM. Who else would it be? Hello?
Today I want to talk about a movie called Zero Charisma. It's out on video on demand now, and it's also in select theaters if you want to check that out. It's a movie about a guy who literally has zero charisma. But of course, if you know the reference, it's also based on role-playing games. It's not, they don't outwardly say Dungeons and Dragons, but it's Dungeons and Dragons.
Probably some copyright issue there. But.
Yeah, well, they couldn't say DM, they had to say GM. But I think this is a really interesting movie, and it gets so many things right, and I think it's introspective, and it focuses a lot on the modern nerd community and what it means and the divisiveness in it. So the main character is a guy named Scott. He's a big hulking guy. He's the GM for a group of his friends, and they've been passionately playing this D&D style game for a very long time. Scott is very dedicated to it. He wants the story to go a certain way. When it doesn't go that way, he gets mad. He's not exactly a protagonist that you like all the way. He's not nice to his...
a flawed and tragic hero?
Yes, a flawed and tragic hero. But wait, the antagonist is also flawed and also somewhat likable. He continues on this way for a long time until someone leaves his group because of marriage problems, which Scott, by the way, thinks is stupid and not worthwhile. So he goes to this game store where he used to work until his many problems, inner problems, got in the way of that and was fired. And he meets this guy named Miles. Miles is what you would call a hipster nerd. He's got the ironic t-shirt, the mustache, the black-rimmed glasses.
What kind of games do you guys host here?
If you're looking for a game to play, we have an opening for a new player. Hey guys, this is Miles.
I brought a six-pack if anyone wants one.
Miles is pretty funny tonight, huh, Scott?
Role-playing is about more than just being funny, you know. What's hard is to get people to think, to get them emotionally invested in the story.
I am Ulrich Benavon, keeper of the Stones of Light.
I'm gonna throw my sword at his head.
But that's not what you're supposed to do.
Thought we could do whatever we wanted, right?
Old money versus new money.
Yeah, pretty
in
much.
Nerd currency.
So he says, hey, I want to join a role-playing game. Can I join one? To the store clerk. Store clerk says, like, no. And then Scott goes, yes, join mine. I need someone. So he joins up. Scott's friends all love Miles. He's a great guy. He really is. He owns this website called Geek Chic, not to be confused with Geek Chic Daily or The Nerdist.
Real websites.
For reals. And he's very likable. He's very positive and nice to Scott's friends, to the nerd herd. And he kind of usurps Scott in a way. And you see this, I don't want to spoil too much, but they go...
Yes, you do.
I do. I really do, but I won't. But it goes down this road of, you know, is Scott right? Is Miles right? They both have so many problems with themselves, but they're also, because you want to root for Scott, but then he does so many things that are so unlikable and so just detestable even. And then you want to like Miles, but actually no, you don't want to like Miles, but then you kind of do. And he's not, I would say, as dedicated as Scott.
Why am I dead on constantly?
This is all Miles' fault. Ever since he joined the game, my life has turned to shit.
Miles! You never told us you had a nemesis.
He's not one of us.
20! Oh, shit!
Being a nerd used to mean something, goddammit.
I'm not a nerd.
Yes, you are, Wayne. Yes, you are, and be proud of it. I put my heart and soul into the game. No game master works harder than me.
I think somebody needs to get a life.
You get a life.
It plays a lot on insecurity, and it plays a lot into what it means to be a nerd today, because the definition has changed over time. It's not what it meant in the 80s. It's certainly not what it meant like in the 50s.
And it's sort of a title that's being embraced more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, you've got your old school nerds who have been with it from the beginning, have been ostracized by society, and embrace that. And now you've got, a school of people that think it's cool to be nerds, and like the old school nerds that have always dealt with that isolationism kind of resent these new nerds because they get the best of both worlds. They get to be popular and they get to embrace their geeky, nerdy subculture that they've always helped with.
This is how I really like it, because it does kind of interplay on what's going on. And when you watch the movie, you think, oh no, am I Scott? Oh no, am I Miles? They both have their flaws and their good sides, but it's just like, is one of them less authentic? That's one of the questions that goes in, and then it makes you think like, well, of course, we have the fake geek controversy. We have the hipster nerd thing. It's not really a controversy, just a lot of people don't like them. And it's like, is one more true than the other? Is it, and it kind of draws attention. I think Scott's interaction with his friends kind of draws attention to like the nerd on nerd bullying problem that we see so much on the internet. It's so much worse than when I was a kid. I thought it would end when I left school, but it did not. It got worse as an adult. And I think this movie kind of plays onto that and makes you think, why is this happening? Why do people why is there that defensiveness and anger and brutishness there?
Well, I mean, in a way, this movie is marketed towards a certain group, and then subverts that by pointing out all the things that are wrong with this group, making the audience look at themselves and say, hey, are these exclusionary qualities that I have?
Like, do I have these social
qualities that I have?
Am I not as real like Miles is? And is Miles real? Because it seems like he's been writing a comic his whole life. He's turned his life successful with his website, and it seems like at some point he and Scott were the same, maybe as children, but Scott kind of took a self-destructive route, whereas Miles developed social adaptivity,
So then is that introverts versus extroverts?
Is it?
And does the movie take a stance on which is better or which is...
It really doesn't. It doesn't. It's kind of like you choose your own protagonist at some point. Like, do you like Scott more? It's hard to like Scott. Do you like Miles more? You're not supposed to like Miles, but you kind of do. I kind of lean towards Scott because I too have antisocial problems, but you think it makes you question yourself, like, is that wrong? And yeah, it is a little wrong. Both are a little wrong. And I like it a lot because it makes you examine yourself, and it makes you examine modern issues that are probably happening to you on the internet right now.
So is a movie recommended watching?
Yes, and it also answers which is faster, the Millennium Falcon or the Enterprise, using math. It's a math rate distance ratio.
Do they take parsecs into account?
They would pretty much have to, I'm not going to spoil it. Okay. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but there is a definitive answer, and it is fucking awesome.
So watch the movie for that at the very least.
Yeah, I would say. To me, this is a great movie. It's handled very lovingly. With all the problems I have with the Big Bang Theory, this movie subverts that, at least in my opinion. It's on video on demand now and in select theaters.